I need to tell you something that could save you from the biggest financial mistake of your life. If you're planning to retire on $250,000 or $500,000 or even $1 million, you might be walking into a disaster you don't see coming. Or you might be working years longer than necessary because you don't understand what these numbers actually mean. I've watched people retire with what they thought was plenty and run out of money at 78. I've watched people work until 70 chasing an arbitrary number when they could have retired comfortably at 62. I've seen the fear, I've seen the regret, and almost all of it came from not understanding what different retirement savings actually provide in real daily life. Today I'm going to walk you through exactly what retirement looks like at each savings level, what you can afford, what you can't, the psychological traps waiting at each stage, and most importantly how to think about retirement in a way that optimizes your actual life instead of chasing numbers that may or may not matter. This could change when you retire, how you retire, and whether your retirement is something you enjoy or something you survive. Pay attention to every word. Let me start with the math, because the math is where most people go wrong. There's a concept called the safe withdrawal rate. This is the percentage of your retirement savings you can withdraw each year with reasonable confidence that your money will last 30 years or more. The traditional number was 4%. Recent analysis suggests 4.7% may be more accurate given historical market returns and inflation patterns. I'll use 4.7% because it's more current, but understand that this is not a guarantee. It's a statistical probability based on historical data. Markets can do things they've never done before. But we need some framework, and this one has been tested extensively. When you apply 4.7% to different nest egg levels, the annual income looks like this. $250,000 generates roughly $11,750 per year. That's about $980 per month from your savings alone. $500,000 generates roughly $23,500 per year, about $1,960 per month. $750,000 generates roughly $35,250 per year, about $2,940 per month. $1 million generates roughly $47,000 per year, about $3,917 per month. These numbers probably look smaller than you expected. That's the first wake-up call. $1 million sounds enormous until you realize it produces less than $4,000 monthly in sustainable retirement income. But these numbers don't exist in isolation. For most Americans, Social Security provides additional income that changes the equation significantly. The average Social Security benefit currently sits around $1,800 monthly for someone claiming at full retirement age. But this number varies dramatically based on your earnings history and when you claim. Claiming at 62, the earliest possible age, reduces your benefit permanently. You might receive only 70% of your full retirement age benefit. That $1,800 becomes roughly $1,260. Waiting until 70 increases your benefit substantially. You receive delayed retirement credits that can push your benefit to 124% of your full retirement age amount. That $1,800 becomes roughly $2,232. The difference between claiming at 62 versus 70 is nearly $1,000 monthly. Over a 20-year retirement, that's almost $240,000. For a couple, where both partners have benefits, the impact doubles. This timing decision is one of the most consequential financial choices you'll ever make, and most people get it wrong because they don't understand the math, or they let fear drive the decision. Now, let me show you what life actually looks like at each savings level, because abstract numbers don't capture reality. $250,000 in retirement savings is a challenging starting point, but it's not impossible depending on your circumstances. With 4.7% withdrawal, you're generating about $980 monthly from savings. Add Social Security at the average benefit level, and a single person might have around $2,780 monthly. A couple with two Social Security benefits might have around $4,780 monthly combined. For a single person, $2,780 monthly means roughly $33,400 annually. This is possible, but it's tight. Very tight. This level of retirement requires specific conditions to work. You need housing costs under control, either a paid-off home or rent in a low-cost area. We're talking about places where $800 monthly gets you acceptable housing. These places exist, but they're not everywhere. Small towns, lower cost of living states, areas that won't appear on any list of desirable retirement destinations. You need zero debt entering retirement, no car payments, no credit cards carrying balances, no lingering loans of any kind. Every dollar of debt service at this income level takes food off your table or medication out of your cabinet. You need reliable health coverage. Medicare helps after 65, but the gaps in Medicare coverage can destroy a thin retirement budget. Supplemental insurance becomes essential, and that costs money. You can make $250,000 work as a single person if you've optimized everything else. Modest home, modest car, modest entertainment, modest everything. It's not luxurious. It's not even particularly comfortable by middle-class standards, but it's possible. For a couple, $250,000 in shared savings works better because you share housing costs, share utilities, share a vehicle if you're strategic. The fixed costs of existence get split two ways, while the savings only need to support two people living in proximity. The psychological danger at this level is significant. When you have barely enough, fear becomes your constant companion. You worry about every unexpected expense. You worry about market downturns that could devastate your thin cushion. You worry about inflation eroding what little you have. This fear makes people vulnerable to predators. I've watched retirees at this savings level fall for investment scams promising higher returns. They're not greedy, they're afraid. They know their money might not last, and someone promising a solution seems like salvation. The fear also pushes some people toward inappropriately risky investments. They figure they need higher returns to survive, so they abandon safe allocations for speculative bets. This usually ends badly. The money they couldn't afford to lose gets lost. If you're retiring at $250,000, your primary focus must be protecting what you have, not growing it aggressively. The math is already working against you. Don't make it worse by taking risks you can't recover from. Moving to $500,000 changes the picture considerably. At this level, your savings generate roughly $1,960 monthly. Add average Social Security for a single person, and you're looking at around $3,760 monthly, or $45,000 annually. For a couple with two Social Security benefits, combined income might reach around $5,660 monthly, or $68,000 annually. This is genuinely comfortable for many people. Not luxurious, but genuinely comfortable. At $45,000 annually as a single person, you can afford decent housing in most American cities outside the most expensive metros. You can own a reliable car without stress. You can eat out occasionally. You can have hobbies that cost modest amounts. You can visit grandchildren without calculating whether you can afford the gas. You have breathing room. Not a lot, but enough that unexpected expenses don't trigger panic. The car needs repairs, you handle it. The roof needs work, you handle it. Not easily, not without thought, but you handle it. For couples at $68,000 annually, life becomes notably more comfortable. You can travel domestically once or twice a year. You can help family members occasionally without endangering your own security. You can enjoy restaurants and entertainment without constant mental calculation. But $500,000 carries its own psychological trap. The danger at this level is false comfort. You have enough that you stop worrying. You stop monitoring. You stop being careful. And slowly, without noticing, you overspend your sustainable withdrawal rate. I've seen this happen repeatedly. Someone retires at $500,000 feeling secure. They're not rich, but they're okay. So they loosen up. A slightly nicer car than they need. A few more restaurant meals monthly. A slightly larger vacation budget. Each decision is small. The accumulation is devastating. After 5 years of slight overspending, they realize their savings have dropped faster than expected. The market returns weren't quite what they projected. Inflation ate more than they anticipated. And now they have $350,000 at 70 trying to figure out how to survive to 90. The other trap at this level is unnecessary risk-taking. Some people at $500,000 convince themselves they need to reach $1 million. They take investment risks trying to accelerate growth. They chase returns because they feel close to some arbitrary goal. This chasing often destroys wealth rather than building it. If $500,000 provides the retirement you want, don't risk it trying to get somewhere that won't make you meaningfully happier. $750,000 represents what I consider the genuine comfort threshold for most Americans. At this level, your savings generate roughly $2,940 monthly. Add Social Security for a single person, and you're looking at around $4,740 monthly, or $56,900 annually. For a couple, Combined income might reach around $6,740 monthly, or $80,900 annually. This is where retirement starts feeling abundant rather than adequate. At $57,000 annually as a single person, you can live well in most American cities. You can own your home comfortably. You can drive a nice car. You can travel internationally once a year without stress. You can pursue hobbies that cost real money, photography equipment, golf memberships, art supplies, whatever interests you. You can be generous occasionally, help a grandchild with education costs, contribute to family celebrations, give meaningful gifts without worrying about the impact on your budget. For couples at $81,000 annually, life becomes what most people imagine when they picture a good retirement. International travel multiple times yearly, nice home in a desirable area, freedom to pursue interests without constant calculation, ability to help family substantially. This is the level where money stops being the primary constraint on your retirement experience. Time and health become the limits, not dollars, but $750,000 has its own psychological dangers. The first trap is chasing arbitrary numbers. You're at $750, $1 million is only $250 away. Maybe you should work another 2 or 3 years to hit that nice round number. This thinking has destroyed more retirement happiness than market crashes. $1 million is not a meaningful threshold. It's a number humans find psychologically satisfying because we have 10 fingers and like round numbers. The actual lifestyle difference between $750 and $1 million is marginal. Maybe an extra $800 monthly income. That's meaningful but not transformative. Meanwhile, those 2 or 3 years you work to hit $1 million are gone forever. You're 68 instead of 65. Your knees work slightly less well. Your energy is slightly lower. Your healthy retirement years are slightly fewer. Time cannot be recovered. Money can be managed. Trading guaranteed time for marginal money is almost always a bad deal, but people make this trade constantly because million sounds better than 750. The second trap at this level is complacency. You have enough that monitoring feels unnecessary. The account grows or shrinks, whatever. You're fine either way. This complacency causes people to miss important optimizations. They claim Social Security at the wrong time because they didn't bother analyzing the decision carefully. They leave money in cash earning nothing when inflation is destroying its value. They don't rebalance portfolios that have drifted into inappropriate risk levels. Having enough money doesn't mean you can stop paying attention. The money still needs management. The decisions still matter. $1 million is where most people think retirement becomes worry-free. The reality is more complicated. At $1 million, your savings generate roughly $3,917 monthly. Add Social Security for a single person, and you're looking at around $5,717 monthly, or $68,600 annually. For a couple, combined income might reach around $7,717 monthly, or $92,600 annually. This is genuine financial freedom for most lifestyles. At $69,000 annually as a single person, you can afford essentially any retirement lifestyle that doesn't involve extreme luxury. Beautiful home, nice car, travel wherever interests you, hobbies without limit, generosity with family, quality healthcare, peace of mind. For couples at $93,000 annually, you're living better than most working families. First-class travel when you want it, second home potentially, significant financial help for children and grandchildren, the ability to pursue whatever brings meaning without financial constraint. But $1 million carries the most insidious psychological trap of all, the comparison trap. At $1 million, you've achieved what most Americans never will. You've accumulated genuine wealth. You should feel successful, secure, satisfied. Instead, many people at this level feel inadequate. They read financial independence communities where people discuss 2 million, 5 million, 10 million portfolios. They scroll social media showing lifestyles that require far more than 1 million sustains. They compare themselves to the visible wealthy and feel like failures despite success. This comparison steals contentment from people who have every reason to be content. They worked hard. They saved diligently. They reached a level of security that 90% of humans throughout history never achieved. And they feel poor because someone else has more. The other trap at this level is what some call 1 more year syndrome. You hit 1 million, but 1.25 would provide more cushion. So you work another year, you hit 1.25, but 1.5 would be even better. So you work another year, you hit 1.5. But 2 million is the really secure number, so you keep working. and you look up at 72, still working, still chasing numbers that will never feel like enough, having sacrificed a decade of retirement for arbitrary goals that never delivered the security they promised. I've watched people die at their desks chasing numbers that wouldn't have changed their lives. The retirement they postponed never arrived because they postponed it until they ran out of healthy years. This brings me to something most retirement planning ignores entirely. The point of retirement is not to accumulate the largest possible number. The point is to optimize your finite time on Earth. You have approximately 4,000 weeks if you live to 80, less if you're already past 20. Those weeks are the real scarce resource. Money exists to purchase freedom during those weeks. But past a certain point, more money doesn't purchase meaningfully more freedom. The difference between 1 million and 2 million is real but diminishing. Yes, you have more cushion, more theoretical security, more ability to handle catastrophic scenarios, but your daily experience of life, nearly identical. You wake up in the same house, eat the same food, visit the same grandchildren, travel to the same places. Meanwhile, the time spent accumulating that extra million is gone. Permanently, you can't recover it. You can't invest it. It's simply not available for retirement because you spent it working. Smart retirement planning works backward from lifestyle, not forward from accumulation. Start with the life you want to live. Be specific. What does a typical Tuesday look like? What trips do you take? What hobbies do you pursue? Where do you live? What do you eat? How do you spend time? Then calculate what that life costs. Monthly expenses for the existence you actually want. Not what retirement calculators assume, what you actually want. Then determine what nest egg produces that income sustainably. Add social security projections. Account for healthcare costs. Include cushion for unexpected expenses. That number, the one derived from your actual desired lifestyle, is your target. Not some arbitrary benchmark from the internet. Not what your neighbour has, not what financial influencers suggest. Your number for your life. This approach often produces surprising results. Some people discover they're already at their number and could retire years earlier than they assumed. Their desired lifestyle costs less than they thought, and their savings already support it. Other people discover they need more than they expected because their desired lifestyle genuinely requires higher spending. They can then make informed decisions about whether to modify the lifestyle, extend working years, or accept more investment risk. Either way, you're making decisions based on your reality rather than arbitrary social benchmarks. Let me talk about something that affects all of these numbers but rarely gets discussed clearly. Your cost of living determines how far any nest egg stretches. The same $500,000 that barely works in San Francisco creates genuine abundance in rural Tennessee. Geography is financial leverage. I'm not saying everyone should move to the cheapest possible location. Quality of life matters. Proximity to family matters. Climate preferences matter. Cultural offerings matter. But understanding the financial impact of location lets you make informed trade-offs. Someone retiring with $500,000 in an expensive coastal city is making a choice to accept tighter finances in exchange for location benefits. That's legitimate. But it's a choice that should be conscious. Someone willing to relocate to a lower-cost area can dramatically extend their retirement security. The same savings that produce stress in one location produce comfort in another. Housing typically consumes the largest chunk of retirement budgets. The difference between a $2,000 monthly mortgage and $800 monthly rent is $14,400 annually. That's the difference between tight and comfortable at most nest egg levels. Transportation is the second largest expense for most households. In some retirement locations, you need 2 cars. In others, 1 car suffices. In a few, you can eliminate car ownership entirely through public transit or walkable neighborhoods. The household that eliminates a car saves on the vehicle itself, insurance, maintenance, fuel, and registration. Easily $5,000 to $10,000 annually, depending on circumstances. These 2 categories alone, housing and transportation, can swing retirement budgets by $25,000 annually or more. That's the equivalent of an additional $500,000 in savings at the 4.7% withdrawal rate. Controlling lifestyle costs is equivalent to accumulating more wealth. The math works either way. I've seen people torture themselves working extra years to accumulate another $200,000 when simply moving 100 miles from their current location would have achieved the same financial effect immediately. One approach costs years of life, the other costs a moving truck. Yet people consistently choose the years because they've never compared the options clearly. Your expenses in retirement will likely differ from your working years, usually in positive ways. You stop commuting. No more gas, maintenance, and vehicle depreciation from daily drives. You stop buying work clothes. No more suits, dress shoes, or professional wardrobe maintenance. You stop paying payroll taxes. Social Security and Medicare taxes disappear when wages disappear. You potentially stop paying for certain insurance coverages tied to employment. Your mortgage may be paid off by retirement age, eliminating your largest monthly expense. You have time to cook, reducing restaurant spending that busy working people rely on. You have time to shop sales, find deals, and optimize purchases that working people pay premium prices for out of convenience. Many retirees find their actual expenses are 20 to 40% lower than their working year expenses despite similar lifestyle quality. The financial planning industry often ignores this reality because lower expense projections lead to smaller recommended savings targets, which conflicts with their incentive to manage larger portfolios. Be honest about what your actual retirement expenses will likely be, not the calculator projections, your specific situation. Now let me bring together the key lessons that could save your retirement. Social Security timing matters more than most people realize. The decision of when to claim is a six-figure decision for most individuals and potentially multiple six figures for couples. Don't make it casually. Don't let fear drive you to claim early unless you have genuine reasons beyond anxiety. For people in good health with reasonable longevity expectations, delaying benefits frequently provides better lifetime income. Every month you wait past 62 increases your permanent benefit. Every year you wait past full retirement age until 70 adds approximately 8% permanently. Do the math for your specific situation. Consider your health. Consider your spouse's benefits if you're married. Consider whether you have other income sources to bridge the gap between retirement and optimal claiming age. This single decision can add hundreds of monthly dollars for life. Don't leave that money unclaimed because you are impatient. Control your lifestyle costs because they determine retirement quality, more than your nest egg in most cases. The person with $500,000 and $1,500 monthly expenses lives better than the person with $1 million and $4,000 monthly expenses. The first person has breathing room. The second person is stressed despite more assets. Expenses are directly controllable. Market returns are not. Focusing energy on the controllable variable produces reliable results. Focusing on the uncontrollable produces anxiety without benefit. Stay diligent with your finances even when you think you've made it. The $500,000 portfolio that felt safe at 65 can become dangerously depleted at 75 through inattention. Markets move, inflation erodes, expenses creep upward. The portfolio that was adequate requires ongoing monitoring to remain adequate. This doesn't mean obsessive daily checking. That creates unnecessary stress. But annual reviews at minimum, expense tracking, rebalancing when allocations drift. Awareness of whether you're withdrawing more than you should. Complacency is not the reward for reaching a savings target. Continued attention is the price of continued security. Personalize your retirement goal based on your actual desired lifestyle. The internet is full of arbitrary numbers, 1 million, 2 million, 25 times expenses. These formulas attempt to simplify something that shouldn't be simplified. Your retirement is yours, your expenses are yours, your desires are yours, your healthcare situation is yours, your family obligations are yours. Generic formulas cannot account for your specifics. Work backward from the life you want. Calculate what that life costs. Determine what savings level supports those costs with appropriate safety margin. That's your number. It might be higher or lower than the benchmarks. Either way, it's real rather than arbitrary. I want to leave you with a final thought that most financial content never addresses. Retirement planning is ultimately life planning. The nest egg is a tool. The Social Security strategy is a tool. The withdrawal rate is a tool. These tools serve a purpose beyond themselves. The purpose is living well during your finite years, experiencing what matters to you, spending time with people you love, pursuing interests that bring meaning, contributing to causes you care about, being comfortable and secure in your daily existence. Money serves these ends. Money does not replace these ends. I've watched people sacrifice their health, accumulating retirement funds they never fully enjoy because they damaged themselves in the accumulation. I've watched people sacrifice relationships pursuing financial security that feels hollow without people to share it with. I've watched people sacrifice meaning working jobs they hated to build portfolios that couldn't buy the meaning back. Don't optimize money at the expense of what money is supposed to provide. At the same time, don't be naive about financial needs. Running out of money in old age is genuinely terrible. Financial insecurity creates daily stress that poisons everything else. Having enough matters. But defining enough based on your reality rather than arbitrary social expectations is crucial. $250,000 can work for the right person in the right circumstances. 1 million might not be enough for someone with expensive tastes and expensive health conditions. There is no universal number because there is no universal life. Know what you want. Know what it costs. Build toward that target. Stop when you reach it. The years beyond that target belong to living, not accumulating. Write in the comments where you are in your retirement preparation. What number are you targeting? What does your desired retirement lifestyle look like? Sometimes articulating these details clarifies thinking you didn't know was muddy. Share this with someone approaching retirement who might be making decisions based on arbitrary benchmarks rather than personal reality. The information in this video could change when they retire, how they experience retirement, and whether they have enough to enjoy it. And remember this above everything else. Time is the scarcest resource. Money exists to buy freedom during the time you have. Past a certain point, more money doesn't buy more freedom. It just buys more money. Know your number, reach it, then stop working and start living. That's what retirement is actually for.